My name is Brittany Allyn and welcome to Savor the Flavors. If you've seen my Savor the Flavors travel shows before, you've probably heard me say a time or two that I never met a soup I didn't like. And so far, that's true. So as you can imagine, I enjoy creating my own soup recipes as well. In fact, one of my favorite things to do when I'm entertaining is to have a soup night. It really makes things easy because you can make several different soup recipes, freeze them, and then the day of the event, all you have to do is thaw them out, serve with a little bread and crackers, and you're good to go. Now, when I'm doing a soup night, I always like a broth-based soup, a cream-based soup, and one with a little spice, like chili, or the recipe I'm going to share with you today for my chicken tortilla soup. Now, I already have my soup underway. I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating in my pot. To that, I'm going to add 1 cup of diced onion. And we're just going to saute this over medium heat. And I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I've sliced nice and thin. We'll just give this a little stir. We want this to saute for about 8 minutes or until the onion is nice and translucent and those veggies are tender. Now, while that's going on, we're going to work on some of the other ingredients. For this, I have a can of diced tomatoes. If you can find the diced tomatoes that are fire roasted, those are my favorite for this soup. It's just another layer of flavor. The char on those tomatoes is so delicious. And also, I have some black beans. And if you can for this, find the low sodium version of the black beans. This is a really nice hearty soup. It's got chicken in it and the black beans. You're gonna love it. Now, we're gonna drain these beans and we will just discard the liquid. Okay. Now this is sort of a Southwest Mexican kind of soup, and so in here I'm gonna put 2 chipotle chili peppers in adobo. I always have these on hand. They are just such a wonderful smoky flavor. For this, we want to take the seeds out. So I'm just going to sort of cut into them and then just fold them open like that and scrape out those seeds. Now, you don't have to get all of the seeds, but we want to get most of them. Just like that. We'll do this other one. These chipotle chili peppers really keep well in the refrigerator for about 2 weeks, and so I've always got some in there and I'm always using them. Now we're just going to sort of roughly cut these into pieces. We'll put them in our soup later, and we're going to go see how things are going over here. I think it needs a stir. Oh yeah. We're going to let these go just a little bit longer because we want those onions to be nice and tender. Okay, those onions are looking great. They're starting to get a little brown. That's just what we're looking for. Now we're going to add our tomatoes. And also those chipotle peppers that we cut up. Give those a little stir. And now we need some spices. Here I have an 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne. That's going to give it that wonderful heat that we're looking for in a dish like this. And also here I have an 1/8 teaspoon of coriander. Coriander is actually the same plant as cilantro. Here in the United States, we refer to the leaves as cilantro and the seeds as coriander. So this is coriander, and it sort of has that same lemony lime sort of flavor, but a little more toasted, and I just love it in this. Now we're just going to let that cook a little bit because we want those spices the natural oils to come out of them. And we'll let that go for about a minute here. I think that's great. This is smelling so fabulous already. To that, we're going to add 4 cups of chicken stock. Okay, now we're just going to simmer this for about 10 minutes. While that's going on, I always like to top my tortilla soup with some fried tortilla strips. I made some earlier, and here's how I did it. Now, in addition to topping our soup with tortillas, I also like to just put one corn tortilla that I haven't fried into the soup because it helps to thicken it. So we're just going to take that over here, drop it in, and then we're just going to let that cook down for another 10 minutes. Okay, that is looking perfect. Now what I'm going to do is puree the soup, and I'm going to puree in at the same time 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I've cubed. That makes the soup nice and silky. Now I'm going to use an immersion blender. If you don't have one and you're using a regular blender, be very careful. Make sure to work in batches and get a nice heavy kitchen towel and place it on top of the lid when you're blending so you don't get splashed by the hot liquid. If you're working over the stove, make sure and turn off the heat. Okay, that is looking so good, nice and silky. We'll just set this aside, give it a little stir here. Beautiful, I just love that. Now it's time to add some more ingredients. We're going to add our chicken. I've got 2 cups of chicken here that I've shredded. I like it shredded for this, it's a little rustic and I like that look. And then we're going to add those black beans that we drained earlier, like that. And we need a ½ teaspoon of salt. Give that a stir. This is so beautiful looking. I just love how hearty this soup looks. And then I like to finish it with just a ¼ cup of heavy cream, just to really add to that silkiness. This is smelling so wonderful, nice and spicy and smoky and rich. You are gonna love this soup. Now, for the toppings, actually we're gonna take a little towel here. We need it to look nice and pretty, don't we? Now, we made those fried strips, those fried tortilla strips earlier. We're just gonna pile some of those on the top, give that nice crunch. And then I like to take a couple pieces of avocado and just kind of lay them around like that. And then here I have some cotija cheese, or you can also use feta cheese. It's very similar, and it has sort of a nice saltiness about it. I love that. And lastly, some fresh cilantro. Now, don't think this is just a garnish and you don't have to do it. This is such a key ingredient. You will love the brightness that the cilantro adds to this. Now, some people don't care for cilantro, and if you're one of those people, it can be sort of a polarizing herb. You could also use some nice fresh sliced scallions on this as well. Now, the next time you have soup night, I would love for you to savor the flavors of my chicken tortilla soup.